They have pretty much identical stack heights, but different drops. Let me explain. Hey everyone, and welcome back on the channel. My name is Alex. Before getting into today's battle, I just wanted to ask you to go in the community tab of the channel and under the last post, ask a question for the Q&A video that is going to be released next week. We already have tons of very interesting questions, but maybe you want to ask something specific about shoes, training, nutrition, my training, my racing, whatever you want. I mean, I'm very happy to discuss pretty much anything. So, just go there and ask your question. I will be happy to address it next week in the Q&A video to celebrate 1,000 subscribers. By the way, if you're new on the channel, don't hesitate to like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. It helps the channel. It really does. Alright, today's battle, we have three very similar shoes, at least for certain reasons they're similar, but they have big differences as well. The Adidas Adizero Adios 6, the New Balance Fuelcell Rebel V2, and the Puma LIBERATE NITRO. So yeah, three shoes released in 2021, and we're going to have a battle like we do here on the channel. So quite exciting. I need more hands to hold the shoes. All right. So yeah, one thing lots of people mentioned, as soon as I have more than two shoes in the battle, it's hard for me to put, like proper data on the screen, and I have those graphs which are not very readable. And I totally agree. So I'm trying to come up with something new for that format. So today, please forgive me, but you will not have any graphs on the screen because those are not very readable. So I'm gonna tell you orally, the data. And so yeah, first of all, interestingly, let's talk about efficiency. So I'm not going through all the metrics like we usually do. That will come back for sure next time we have a battle. But today I'm just going to give you some highlights. Efficiency, and here the shoes are very different in terms of ride sensations, and the efficiency is actually quite different as well. The most efficient shoe tested both at 5 minutes per kilometer, so that's 8:39 minutes per mile, and 3:30 per kilometer, so something like 5:30 per mile, is the Adidas Adios 6. And the least efficient one is the Rebel V2. So that's for the efficiency, meaning the amount of energy, power that you need to produce in order to sustain a certain pace. And here, those two shoes are the most efficient, the least efficient. And in terms of comparison between the sensations and the numbers, it makes sense. Second interesting number in the metrics is the pronation. So again, pronation is not a bad thing. It's a protection mechanism that is developed by our body, and we need it. But too much pronation can be noxious, and the pronation velocity, so the speed at which you are pronating, can also have an impact on your risk to be injured. And here again, it's quite interesting. The shoe in which I feel like I'm pronating the most is the Rebel, and indeed the Rebel shows to have the highest pronation angle. Now the shoe in which I think I'm pronating the less is the Adios 6, but, and that's quite interesting, the lowest pronation numbers are actually on the Liberate. So this is quite interesting, to compare the sensations and the way my foot arch is dropping and I'm pronating. I thought that the Adios had less of that sort of motion, and there was more of it on the Rebel and the Liberate. But quite interesting. So these are the two metrics that I wanted to mention for the gait analysis. Now in terms of specs, weight, width, and so on. So weight, we're looking at 212 grams for the Liberate, it's the lightest of all, 226 for the Rebel, and 256 for the Adios 6. So lightest, heaviest here. Then in terms of Durometer scores, this is quite interesting. You all love the Durometer numbers, and I understand, I do love them as well. So we have the lowest number is of course on the Rebel V2. Indeed, the foam of the Rebel seems to be the softest and the durometer score goes in that way. Then the second softest foam is the LIBERATE Pro that you have here at the forefoot of the Adios 6. Remember, two different foams on the Adios 6. LIBERATE Pro, which is either PIBA or a blend EVA TPU, but it's a super foam and it's actually quite soft. So 25 on the durometer scale from 0 to 100 for the Rebel, 27 for the LIBERATE Pro, and then the nitrogen infused nitro foam, which is EVA based on the LIBERATE, is ranking at 30 on the durometer scale. The regular EVA Light Strike on the Adios 6 is ranking at 36. So you have the difference between two EVA foams, nitrogen infused EVA from Puma, 30 on the durometer scale, and then 36 for the Adios 6. The Light Strike, I mean, because it's 27 for the LIBERATE Pro. Quite interesting as well, and you know, the durometer scores here are very much in line with the sensations, so no big surprise. In terms of outsole, you have the numbers on your screen, but it's a bit less relevant. The Rebel has a very soft outsole too. So this is, you know, very soft midsole, very soft outsole, and yeah, I mean the ride feels very soft on the Rebel, of course. Weight I mentioned, stack heights, quite interesting, and that's actually the reason why I decided to go with these three shoes for the battle. They have pretty much identical stack heights, but different drops. Let me explain. So you have the lowest drop is on the Rebel, 26.20 in the forefoot. Then you have 8mm on the Adios 6, 27.19, and then on the LIBERATE you have 10mm, 28.18. So you have 20mm on the forefoot, 19mm in the forefoot, and 18. So, you know, you could think, okay, there's like a 2mm range from the lowest forefoot stack height to the highest one. The shoes are going to be very similar in terms of feel, and yet they're so different in the forefoot, so different in the heel. Yeah, the foams play a big role to that, but this is a great example that you can have very similar, you know, stack heights and yet so different feeling sensations. Quite interesting, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to put these three shoes to a battle altogether. Now, in terms of width of the platform, the most narrow shoe is the Adios 6, and then the widest is in the forefoot the Rebel, but in the heel the LIBERATE. And remember, the shoe in which I'm pronating the list is the LIBERATE, and it has the widest heel, and it has the hardest foam. So, you know, that can be some links made between all those points, those connections, and trying to explain the reasons why the metrics are the way they are. I really need a second pair of hands to hold the shoes together. Yeah, that's for the metrics. Now, in terms of pounding, leg pounding, in terms of sensations, I feel like I have the highest amount of shock G's in the LIBERATE, which is true. The SUSCRIBE metrics, the SUSCRIBE pods show to have the highest value of shock in the LIBERATE, and the lowest one in the Rebel, and again that's correct, and that's thanks to the very soft midsole. So that's for the leg pounding. The Adios 6 is a bit in between. Same here, you know, ground contact, ground feel. You have the highest amount of ground feel on the LIBERATE, of course. It also has the thinnest stack height in the forefoot. So, you know, same here. There's an explanation to that. Now let's go to the second section of the video. One word, one thing I wanted to mention and I forgot at the beginning of the video. I don't know if you noticed, but I put some nice shoe boxes here in the pain cave. I need to find a way to, you know, put some lights in them or around them at least, because now I guess you don't see much in them. But I'm gonna do that and do a tour of the pain cave. It's a video that will come sooner rather than later here on the channel. One word to describe each shoe. Let's begin with the Rebel. The Rebel is soft. And I'm trying to come up with different words for different battles, including this shoe. I know I already said plush for the Rebel, now I'm saying soft, which is similar, but I'm trying to come up with words that make sense in the context of the battle. So soft for the Rebel, For the Liberate, I'm gonna go responsive. Responsive. And one word for the Adios 6, I'm gonna say versatile. Because in the context of this video, it's a very versatile shoe. Now let's move on to the point section of the video. We have 3 shoes in the battle, so we're gonna go for 2 points for the shoe that wins a segment, 1 point for the second one, and 0 points for the third one. In terms of upper, I'm gonna go, this is difficult, 2 points for the Liberate and 1 point for the Rebel. Why is that? I'm just giving credit to the research and innovation that took place to produce those uppers. They're a bit more technical than the one on the Adios. I personally prefer the one on the Adios, but I think for the points and for the battle, it makes sense to award the points to the Liberate and the Rebel. Midsole, I'm gonna go 2 points for the Adios 6, love the midsole, and 1 point for the Liberate. Outsole, 2 points for the Liberate, 1 point for the Adios, no doubt whatsoever. Durability will be the same, I think. Highest on the Liberate, second on the Adios 6, and lowest durability on the Rebel. In terms of ride, I'm gonna go 2 points for the Adios and 1 point for the Rebel, 0 for the Liberate. Not that I don't like the ride of the Liberate, I actually do enjoy it, but same here. In the context of the battle, I think those points make sense. Laces, 1 point for the, 2 points for the Liberate and 1 for the Rebel. The laces on the Adios 6 are too thin and I just don't like them. Fit, I'm gonna say 2 points for the Adios and 1 point for the Rebel, 0 for the Liberate. The Adios 6 has the best heel, heel lockdown, heel cup, heel, geometry among those shoes. Now, the lockdown on the Puma is good, but the sizing is a bit awkward and the shoe runs long, so if there's one, it had to happen. If there's one shoe among the 3 on which you need to go half a size down, it's definitely the Liberate, and I do recommend you go half a size down, true to size for the 2 others. So yeah, fit, 2 points for the Adios, 1 for the Rebel, and price, 2 points for the Liberate. It's the cheapest one and the price is just spot on, even it's a bargain. I mean, it's a great price for the Liberate, and 1 point for the Adios, 0 for the Rebel, which is okay in terms of pricing, but same here, in the context of the battle, it has the highest price point and the worst value for money. So yeah, that's for the points. Which shoe do I prefer personally? Adios 6. Yeah, by quite a margin, not like, a landslide, but by quite a margin. Now, recommendations. So which shoe is best for each type of runner? Heel striker, I would advise the Liberate. Why that? Because of the 10mm drop, which will work a bit better for a heel striker, and also because of that huge flex you have in this shoe, and you will really enjoy a full motion in your foot strike. Yeah, I would go for the Liberate for heel strikers. Mid-foot strikers, I would go, yeah, I mean, Rebel would be probably my pick for mid-foot strikers. You can go with any of the 3 really, but Rebel maybe has it. Forefoot strikers, I would pick the Adios. I'm a forefoot striker and it works better for me. I think the Adios is a shoe that works actually quite nice for people with lower cadences and quite strong toe-off phases, so a big propulsion. You can also use, of course, the Liberate, very much so indeed, and the Rebel for that, but yeah, I think the Adios is a bit above the competition here for forefoot strikers. Heavy runners, definitely not the Liberate, and then you can choose pretty much whatever you want between those 2. I would personally go for the Adios, but same here, depends on your gait cycle and so on. Light runners, any of the three, they're very light, they're very suited for light runners, that's for sure. Stability runners, with respect to what I said in terms of pronation, I would pick the Liberate. But the Adios 6 also has that very, smart torsion plate in the midsole, and it actually improves the stability of the shoe, and the Adios feels the most stable. So I would go for the Adios for stability runners. Alright guys, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the battle between these three shoes, which will be very popular in 2021. I can predict it already. They're already very popular, but I think they will even grow on some people, and they will become even more popular. Don't forget to go in the comments of this video, of the post on the community tab, or the previous video comments, and drop a question for the Q&A video. Thank you very much for tuning in. Enjoy your run today for those of you still running today, your rides for those on the bike. Go beyond your limits this weekend in your racing, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.